I remember. I was 6 years old, and I was sitting in front of our 10-inch black and white 3-channel RCA console model television that my dad had just bought for the family. And all of a sudden, there they were, hundreds of them, women in uniform, walking across my screen, marching. And up in the corner was a Hollywood personality, Fran Warren, singing her little heart out. Left, right, left, the girls are marching. Gotta work, work, work like all the guys. Gotta do whatever duty to be done. Working on land, serving at sea or in the sky. I knew it. Right then, I wanted to be in the military. Now fast forward 14 years, and I'm a junior in college. Senior year is coming up. All the resumes are going to be flying, and those perfect suits will be bought for those perfect interviews. And I'm still hearing Fran Warren. By this time, I had done some research on the various services, and hands down, it was the United States Marines. Now at the back of my head, I have this little voice. Make the call, MJ. Make the call. So I got the number. And I gingerly walked to that one telephone that was in the middle of the dormitory corridor. And just like Henry Ford's cars, they were always black. I picked up the phone and I dialed the number. I'm doing. Marine Corps Recruiting Station, Boston Navy Yard. Sergeant Ross speaking. May I help you, sir? Yes. I tell him what I'm interested in. He says, ma'am, you're going to have to talk to our WOSO. The WOSO? Yes, ma'am, that is our Woman Officer Selection Officer. I will see if she is available. Please hang on. And suddenly this sweet southern voice comes to the other end of the line. This is Captain Farley. Might I help you? Yes, ma'am. And I proceed to tell her that I'm interested in the Women Officer Program. Well, she says the best thing for you to do is come on down here and we're going to talk about it. All right. Now I have an appointment 2 days later. I'm on the subway in Boston and my hands are ringing. And I finally get to those 2 big glass doors. And I open them. And there, in the flesh, is Sergeant Ross. I tell him I'm here to see Captain Farley. Yes, ma'am, 1 minute. And then I hear her footsteps coming down the hall. And suddenly, we are face to face. She is gorgeous. She doesn't have a hair out of place. Her uniform is flawless, and I can see myself in her shoes. Am I supposed to live up to this image? You must be Mary Jane. Well, come on down to my office. We're going to talk Marine Corps. Now, follow her down. And we talked Marine Corps. And she told me about the summer program, how I could take my officer training, go back to college, and I would have an entire year to decide whether or not I wanted to take my commission. Well, it sounded like it was a pretty darn good deal. And first thing I knew, I had raised my hand to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States. She reminded me, she said, I think you're a little overweight, but we don't worry about that in the Marine Corps because we're going to march it and run it right off. I leave with my package under my arm. A new recruit for the United States Marines. And now, to tell my Irish Catholic Democrat parents in Lawrence, Massachusetts, they knew that I was looking in this direction. Hi, Mom. Yes, I went to see the WOSO today. The Who. We went to see the Who. Well, she does the selection for the women officer programs, and, well, it sounds like a really good deal, and blah, 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 blah. Oh, that's good, honey. Yeah. Well, your father's not too happy. He wants to talk to you. Oh, okay. Hi, Dad. Listen now, I know that you are wanting to go in this direction, but, well, I went down to see the recruiter today. Oh, no. Oh, what did he tell you? Well, quite honestly, what he said was, no daughter of mine would ever go in the Marines. He said, a lot of men hanging around, spitting, talking. It's just not where you want your daughter. So, I mean, you know, honey, come on. I mean, you got a good college education, and, you know, maybe you ought to rethink it. Dad, I signed the papers. You did. I said, but it's only for the summer. I have a whole year to go back and see if I want to take my commission. Well, he finally acquiesced. And then I find myself in Quantico, Virginia, in front of another gorgeous Southern woman who lets us know that she is our platoon commander and takes us Raggedy Bunch and forms us into lines and columns and says, welcome to the Corps. From now on, every man that moves is a sir, and every woman that moves is a ma'am. Do you understand me? Yes, ma'am. I cannot hear you. Yes, ma'am. I still cannot hear you. Yes, ma'am! That will do. She then takes us into a wooden building, looked like an old World War II barracks, converted just for us. And we march into a large room with 5 sets of bunk beds. This is our squad bay. And we are each assigned a bunkmate. Now we're Marines, but we use Navy terms. So my bunkie is about 5'8", and her name is Sherry. She could have made the top bunk in one fell swoop. But was she assigned to the top bunk? Yeah. All of a sudden, there's Captain Bednar again. It's 10 o'clock at night. Good night, ladies. I want you to sleep tight because tomorrow you begin your Marine Corps training. And I will see you all at 05:30. 05:30, there she was, looking just as bright and beautiful as she had at 10 o'clock the previous night. Up we got. Somebody's yelling through this microphone. Hit the deck! Hit the deck! What? Hit the what? Suddenly we're all out of bed and we're standing on the floor. And we're told, get dressed because the fun is about to begin. And it did. It did. That day, we learned to meet our drill instructors. 3 combat-ready Marines who were probably asking the Almighty, what have I done to be assigned a platoon of college women to teach them to march? But all of us thought, aren't they cute? 3 of them, 2 gunny sergeants and a staff sergeant. Well, they were there to shape us up. And I'll tell you the truth, in about 3 weeks, they did a marvelous job. We were out there in formation, and we were executing those commands so sharply we didn't even believe it ourselves. First squad to the rear, ho! Second squad to the rear, ho! Left oblige, column of files from the right, half step to the rear, march, and halt. We were looking good. We marched everywhere. We marched to the chow hall. We marched to the chapel. We marched to squad bay. We marched to the drill field. We marched everywhere. And when we marched, we sang our little song. Click, click, click your heels in time. Marching is done from the waist down. Now you're looking fine. Day. Day after day after day. Marching, classroom training, testing, chapel, chow hall, uniform care, and shining those Oxfords till we could see ourselves in them. Inspection after inspection after inspection. And don't forget all those shots at the dispensary to make you immune from everything in the whole world. Just put your sleeves up, and with 6 corpsmen on each side, holding instruments that look like those big water guns kids do fights with in the summer, and you just went right through that line. Zip, 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 zip. Now, some of the women had reactions to the shots. And they were put on bed duty that day, and they were in an air-conditioned room. Me, after all that stuff stuck into my system, I was just fine. Well, all of what I've already said is true. Plus, we can't forget those little pieces of paper that get put into your mailbox any time that you do something wrong. Like maybe your locker isn't completely aligned with the 2 steel bars on the bunk bed. Or maybe you didn't lock the lock on your locker. Or maybe that quarter didn't bounce off your bed right when the inspector came through. And you would get a little piece of paper telling you what you had done wrong. And you darn well better correct it. They were called chips. So we affectionately called our platoon commander Chief Give a Chip. And I will never forget the buffer. The buffer that weighed more than all of us put together. It stayed in the utility closet with a big smile on its face. And when you took it out to buff those floors in the rec room, in the squad bay, in the kitchen, it took you for the ride of your life. And then you carefully put it away. Well, the summer finally came to an end. I went back to college. And when I graduated, I had a choice. But I knew. See, I could still see Fran Warren. And I said, this is a lifelong dream. I have to do this. And so I took my commission. And I think dear old Dad was proud because he got to pin on my brown bars on the USS Constitution in Boston Harbor. My first assignment for the next 3 years of my life. Hawaii. Somebody had to do it. A whole career in intelligence, and 26 years later, the Marine Corps handed me a certificate of retirement with a thank you for service to my country. Now, sometimes I wonder, could 26 years of my life have been born from one commercial? But I can still hear Fran Warren. You used to see us moping in the lazy gal brigade. But now we're right in step. We're part of the hit parade. So, left, right, left, the girls are marching. So gals, don't waste a minute. Come on and all get in it. And help yourself by helping Uncle Sam.